Hello, Ember. A while back, I asked permission through your Aunt Brenda uh, for her to pass along any pictures and what have you that was sent to her about you from your mother. And that permission was granted. So I know sort of what you look like and who you are physically. But I'm not sure that the opposite has been the case. Not because I doubt what your mother wouldn't do, but I just don't have a lot of up-to-date images of me. I don't like having my picture taken. I prefer to be on the other side of the lens. So I thought today that I would make a probably short video and send it along in my blog. And one day, when you see my blog, you'll see what I looked like on October 29, October 30. I guess it's the 30th today of 2024. Pretty much what I looked like 6 months ago, and maybe what I'll look like 6 months from now. I don't know. I just thought that might be a neat kind of thing to do. And I hope you agree. Now, there is always a temptation to present oneself in a better light than one may actually deserve. So let me tell you a story. When I was, and I think I was about 6 months old, I was certainly still what one might call a toddler at the oldest. And my parents, your great-grandparents, decided we needed to move as a family to Edmonton. And at that time, it was a heck of a drive, so people moved by train, and that's how we traveled. Now, my grandfather Hamilton came along with us. I think my grandmother Hamilton came too, but I'm not sure. But he's the star of this story. And he was a Scot, so was my grandmother. So was my mother, actually, I suppose. And he did like a little drink now and again. He wasn't a heavy drinker, but on a long train ride, he wouldn't mind a little sip of whiskey to help the day go by. But in those days, you could not drink openly on a train. So you had to hide it, which meant you kept it in a hip flask. Look it up on the web, you'll find out what that is. And occasionally you would pour it into your coffee cup or your teacup. In his case, it was a teacup, and it was mixed with tea, and he'd just slowly sip it, and the day would go nicely by. Now, my mother was also sipping tea, but she was feeding me her tea with a spoon, just to keep me from crying and being a bother. And then she had to get up, so she passed me to my grandfather, and he continued her feeding of me by the spoon. And when my mother got back, he looked at her and said, "Oh, look how this wee boy loves to drink his whiskey." You know, words to that effect. And my mother laughed and said, "No, it's just the tea he likes." And my grandfather said, "Well, try to feed him your tea then, lass." And she did. I wouldn't take it. I was enamored greatly of whiskey and tea. And somebody should have taken note of that. Later on, I guess I started drinking when I was 17, I turned into an active alcoholic by the time I was 20, 21. And I didn't quit drinking, seriously drinking. I still kept a little bottle on hand now and again, but I pretty much quit drinking not too long after your mother was born, because I didn't want to be ashamed in front of her by getting drunk. But for a long time, I never sobered up. Quite literally, I wore cowboy boots on with my motorcycle back in those days. And I'd slip a Mickey inside my cowboy boot, and everywhere I went, I had a Mickey of whiskey or a Mickey of rum with me, and I would drink all day long. Yeah, I was not a saint. I am not a saint now. And for all I know, your mother may be absolutely correct in thinking I was an absolutely horrible father. Although, let me point out one little thing. I truly was the best father I could be. Was I a lousy one? That's entirely possible. But I did try. And that it did not succeed is a pity. But in any case, I have a very definite addictive personality. I can get addicted to anything. Coffee, tea, chocolate, you name it, reading, motorcycles, overindulgence was my speciality, which is one of the reasons I'm a type 2 diabetic, as I talk to you today. And I am very conscious of keeping my weight down and my blood sugar down. And I earned my diabetes because of my overindulgence of not only good food, but bad food. Oh, yes. Anyway, enough of this. I will get this saved and posted to YouTube, and then I will post it to my Sway account, if I can get into that. And from Sway, I'll put it onto the Blogger, because that's where it looks better. Or maybe I'll just go straight to Blogger, depending on what Sway is doing today. You see, I do live at this point in the tropics, in what is commonly called a third world country. Not only that, but I live on the side of a sleepy volcano in the provinces of the Philippines. At one point, we had the world's, or Southeast Asia's longest wireless web connection. By road, it was 14 kilometers. Straight line, 4.5, 5. But we did set a world record there. And now I just forgot what I was saying totally. And by the way, as I say, I had started down the path of dementia, Alzheimer's. I tend to forget things a lot now, right in the middle of things. One of the reasons I no longer drive. What am I doing in a car? Smack, big accident, not a good idea. So, I don't know what I was going to say, it doesn't matter. Yes. Something about YouTube and posting, and today I can't get into my blog using Windows 10 with Edge as my browser, but I can using Opera. Why? I don't know. It just decided not to work, and there you go. So I will get this out one way or another and put it on the blog, and it is my hope that one of my kin that is on good terms with your mother will uh, send along my blog to her, and she'll look at it and think you have a right to see it or not. I don't know that that will happen. But it is your mother's choice, of course. The other thing is that it is a public blog. So you may just stumble upon it one day. And as I said in the previous post, if my Grandma Hamilton is still hanging around, I'm sure you'll see it one day. Anyway, enough of this. I feel like you at least have an image of what I actually look like. And I'll continue making letters to you and sometimes videos, and we'll see how it goes. When one day you see it, and I hope you get back to me in the comments section. Bye-bye.